Now, we'll turn our attention to a federal judge who has, just today, this story from gunsavelives.net. In what looks to be a terrible ruling for Maryland gun owners, a federal judge has essentially ruled that guns that were regulated by the state of Maryland last year, including AR-15s and AK-style rifles, as well as some other magazine-fed semi-autos, fall outside Second Amendment protection as dangerous and unusual firearms. Here's the photograph of the woman who made this decision. Look at her smiling, all happy, gun grabber. Yay! Taking guns away from people with a smile. According to the 47-page opinion by U.S. District Judge Catherine C. Blake. So that's Catherine C. Blake over here. What else we got? The case in question is Colby et al. V. O'Malley et al., which named numerous plaintiffs, including the Associated Gun Clubs of Baltimore, Maryland, Licensed Firearms Dealers Association, Maryland State Rifle and Pistol Association, the National Short Shooting Sports Foundation, among others. Upon review of all the parties' evidence, the court seriously doubts that this is her words? Yeah, here are some of Blake's other comments. Upon review of all parties' evidence, the court seriously doubts that the banned assault long guns are commonly possessed for lawful purposes, particularly self-defense in the home, which is at the core of the Second Amendment right, and is inclined to find the weapons fall outside Second Amendment protections as dangerous and unusual. So apparently that is some sort of Second Amendment protection, that they can't be unusual or dangerous. I don't know what gun isn't dangerous, though. I don't get how that would be some disqualifier.
Or any gun that isn't unusual at the time of the writing of the Second Amendment.
Right. Yeah. Think about all the guns that exist now. All of them would be unusual to the founders. First, the court is not persuaded that assault weapons are commonly possessed based on the absolute number of these weapons owned by the public. Well, that's weird, because how would they even know how many are owned by the public?
So what they mean by unusual is actually how many are owned per capita?
I guess so, yeah.
So that would be a moratorium on all new firearms.
Yeah, you're right.
Because you couldn't design a new firearm and then immediately reach market saturation. It would have to start with a small sort of fan base or whatever.
I think the way most gun-grabbing judges look at guns is just like, well, they're all Glocks. You just make a new Glock every year. You know, you just picture the most standard-looking gun that you see in movies and just say, well, just keep cranking them out. We don't need any improvements in those. We don't need any innovation. We'll just keep cranking out the same old-looking guns. The ones that aren't scary. And don't make them black. Even accepting that there are, this is from Blake, the judge, the gun-grabbing judge says, even accepting that there are 8.2 million assault weapons in the civilian gun stock, as the plaintiffs claim, assault weapons represent no more than 3% of the current civilian gun stock, and ownership of those weapons is highly concentrated in less than 1% of the U.S. population. So because less than 1% of the U.S. has these things, they're not protected by the Second Amendment. That's really weird logic. The court is also not persuaded by the plaintiff's claims that assault weapons are used infrequently in mass shootings and murders of law enforcement officers. But that's true. Why is the court not persuaded by that claim? Assault weapons are used.
It doesn't support the position they've already decided on. That's why they're not persuaded by it.
Oh, yes. Oh, right. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the clarity. The available statistics indicate that assault weapons are used disproportionately to their ownership in the general public, and furthermore cause more injuries and more fatalities when they are used. As for their claims that assault weapons are well suited for self-defense, the plaintiffs offer no evidence beyond their desire to possess assault weapons for self-defense in the home.
Why isn't that enough? I own a sword for self-defense, and that's the only evidence I've ever presented is that I want to own a sword for self-defense. So, yeah, I've never had to use it. I've taken some classes. I vaguely know how to use it, but I've never had to use it in a self-defense scenario, so I don't have any other evidence that it's a good tool for that.
Well, Blake says that this is not evidence that they are in fact commonly used or possessed for that purpose. So you have your sword to go attack people.
Defend. I've never attacked anybody.
Yeah, but it's unusual to have a sword in the home for self-defense. So
it's pretty unusual to use an assault weapon for assault too.
It's an assault sword.
I'm just saying, like less than 1% of the population owns an assault rifle for the purpose of assaulting people, whatever assault rifle means.
Yeah. What does it mean? I don't even use that term, assault weapons. I think.
I don't use it either because it doesn't have a clear definition, which sort of like it troubles me that this is a legal case and a judge is using it so indiscriminately.
Yeah, it seems like she's not even aware that this is like a term invented by the gun grabbers to make certain guns look scary. I mean, there's great visualizations of a regular musket like you would see from the 1700s or whatever, and then the AR-15 or AK-47 rifles, and like you put them side by side, and there's like subtle differences between them, but really they have the same caliber, the same firepower between these two different rifles, and it's ridiculous that one would be banned. It's just a totally emotional argument, and well, let's finish up with her quote here. Blake's comments. Finally, despite the plaintiff's claims that they would like to use assault weapons for defense purposes, assault weapons are military-style weapons designed for offensive use and are equally, or possibly even more effective in functioning and killing capacity than their fully automatic versions.